Like, it's actually just unreal that Con Knipple is like a fringe all-star right now. Cooper Flagg has just started to figure it out. Cooper Flagg, we'll start at the top because it just makes the most sense. I'm only going to talk about a handful of guys today that could be competing for the Rookie of the Year race and maybe just guys that I think are going to make an all-rookie team. But Cooper Flagg is averaging 18.8 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Also, happy birthday to Cooper Flagg, turns 19 today. A 19-year-old is averaging 18.8 points in the NBA. I can't wrap my mind around that. Obviously, Wemby was a great rookie. LeBron's been a great rookie. We've seen some really good rookies, but this guy is really starting to find his stride here in the league. Flagg got off to kind of like a rough start this year. I mean, Jason Kidd was playing him at a point guard spot. There's some funny theories out there that like he was doing that to maybe get Nico Harrison fired. We can look kind of over the last like month and a half-ish, like ever since November 10th. So over his last 18 games, Cooper Flagg is averaging roughly 21.5 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 51% from the field. I will say Cooper Flagg has not really been a good three-point shooter this year at all either, which was kind of a question mark with Cooper Flagg coming out of Duke, or at least coming out of Montverde, I should say. And then his shot played last year at Duke, they fell, and he was part of one of the best teams in college basketball, but he looks so much more comfortable right now as just kind of like a downhill attacker, as a driver for this Dallas Mavericks team, and this is turning into one of the best assets to have in the league, especially for any player under the age of 25, let alone now 19 or younger at the moment. He is going to be the franchise for the Dallas Mavericks the years to come, a team that's actually been playing a little bit better as of late. They needed to win that Sixers game to really feel that momentum. It kind of stopped the momentum a little bit, but Anthony Davis looked good in that game. Cooper Flagg has really looked like a good defender. I would say out of the gate has really looked the part defensively at 19. Just think about how good of a defender he's going to be at like 23 years old. Think about how good of an offensive player he's going to be at like 23 years old. He's not like a super odds-on favorite. He's minus like 185 to win Rookie of the Year right now because Con Knipple has been so good at plus 175. But they've both just been a joy to watch this year, and it's crazy that they were both on the same college team last year at Duke. And I know he's probably not going to be as good as Luka Doncic because that is so hard to do. And Luka's first 5 years in the league, where it was just like 4 All-NBA first teams, like may never get topped again. Like it was that impressive what Luka was doing from 2020 to 2024, and then he brings them to the finals that year in 2024 and then gets traded like 6 months or less than a year later. Didn't really make a lot of sense. And yeah, Con Knipple, like I tweeted out that there's a chance he's gonna have like a shot at being an all-star this year, which I don't think is that hot of a take. Is he an all-star right now? No, but he's averaging 19 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 47% from the field, 41% from 3, and just a casual 91.5% from the free throw line. But Con has been getting better too. He's averaging 22 points, 5 rebounds, 5.5 assists on 62% true shooting in the month of December. In about 8 games this month, he's averaging those numbers, which are definitely all-star numbers in my opinion. Like, Con Knipple's numbers match up pretty well with somebody like Brandon Ingram or Franz Wagner, who are going to be on the bubble of being an all-star this year. And if the Hornets can play a little bit better, this team could definitely get an all-star. And if they were going to get any all-star this year, it would be Con Knipple. It wouldn't be a LaMelo Ball, or definitely not a Miles Bridges. I do wonder when the voting comes out if Con is going to have, like being that top 10 of like forwards in the Eastern Conference, because it's still 12 in the East, 12 in the West, and I wonder if he will have a shot either way. And injuries can happen as well. Like, Con Knipple has a legitimate shot, like I tweeted out, to be an all-star this year. He looks like a seasoned veteran, and it's going to be really fun to watch these former teammates kind of compete for that Rookie of the Year crown at the end of the year, and I'm excited. I mean, Charlotte took a safe pick in Con Knipple, and he's looked so well moving without the ball in his hands. He knows exactly where to be on the floor at all times. He's been an elite shooter. He's been an absolute gamer for this team, and it's nice to see. It's a breath of fresh air in Charlotte. I mean, all 3 of these guys played well the other night against Atlanta. Like LaMelo, Con, and Brandon Miller all played well, and then they were on the other end of a back-to-back going up against Detroit. It's a tough matchup, and then funny enough, they kind of all underperformed in that game, but they've all been really exciting to watch as I guess LaMelo and Miller have had their ups and downs this year. I shouldn't say that they're all been exciting at times, but it was nice to see all 3 of them play well in that Hawks game, because it kind of just shows you what it could be like at its peak in Charlotte, and you can't say enough good things about Con Knipple this year. I want to jump to VJ Edgecombe now, who got off to such a good start this year, and then I thought was hitting somewhat of a rookie wall in the month of November. He was averaging about 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 44% true shooting, 36% from the field in the month of November. He was playing a ton. Like, you could see in the month of October, he played 201 minutes in his first 5 games. Why is a rookie playing 40 minutes a night out of the gate? We have a long 82-game season. There was no need for that, Nick Nurse. He's still playing a decent amount of minutes, and he just looked so good in December. He's averaging 18 points, 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists on 60% true shooting over his last 8 games. Over his last 4 games, he scored over 20 points per game. He's shooting 38% from 3 this year, which has to get you really excited if you're a Sixers fan. He had his first game against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden, and he showed out. In the world's most famous arena. He was really good. He looked really athletic. I thought the defensive tape was really good as well in that game, really holding his own on that end of the floor. It's still a small sample between like him, McCain, and Maxey all on the court at the same time, but they looked solid all together against Dallas, although McCain didn't really shoot the best. But man, I thought Edgecombe was hitting a rookie wall. No, not at all. He has definitely looked the part of somebody that could definitely still end up on all rookie first team, and he was the 3rd overall pick. This rookie class is unreal. It's unreal. Dylan Harper, also somebody that I think is just going to be the easiest lock to be like a 25 point per game scorer from a point guard one day or shooting guard. I don't know if it's going to happen in San Antonio with at least this roster because you have De'Aaron Fox, you have Stephon Castle, you have Victor Wembanyama. So I think since like Castle was drafted before Harper, like I don't think Harper will ever lead Castle in like the scoring pecking order. Maybe he will because I do think he's more talented as a scorer than Stephon Castle, but that's like a couple years down the line. But Harper looks so smooth around the rim. He can get there with finesse, up and unders, contact layups, and he can just be a maestro out of the pick and roll already. Still just 19 years old. I mean, this was a team that didn't need another guard. Like, they had their backcourt set with Fox and Castle, and adding Harper is just like the rich get richer over there in San Antonio. And Harper has been really fun to watch. Another guy that moves well without the ball in his hands. Like, watch a Spurs possession, especially when he's playing out there with Wemby. I think he's really smart without the ball in his hands, and he's just going to be such a luxury piece in San Antonio going forward. You can't talk about rookies this year without talking about Derik Queen, who was a polarizing rookie going into the year. Even before the draft night trade, I was very vocal. I was having a tough time scouting out Derik Queen. I was not a big fan of the defensive tape whatsoever at Maryland. So I'm like, okay, he's not a good shooter, and he hasn't been a good shooter this year. Is he going to be, and I'm like, okay, he's too slow. He's not athletic enough to be a 4. So I'm like, okay, he's going to have to be your 5, which is not a good thing. And hey, the Pelicans playing Derik Queen haven't really resulted in a lot of wins, but you don't really care about that right now in your 20-year-old center, who's going to be 21 soon. But Derik Queen has been very fun to watch this year in New Orleans ever since he got entered into the starting lineup, because you can kind of look at his splits this year as a starter, especially under James Borrego as well. But as a starter this year, he's averaged 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists for a rookie center power forward on 59% true shooting. Like, that is really encouraging in New Orleans. He makes really good reads as a big, which is what we saw at Maryland last year. I thought the offensive tape was a lot of fun. Like, there was some good and bad in the offensive tape, but I thought it was just a lot of fun to watch last year in the Big Ten. He obviously hits that game winner against Colorado State in March Madness. And I'm like, okay, this guy could actually be an offensive hub. I gave him small comps to Şengün and Sabonis, given the passing ability and the vision for somebody at his size. I just didn't think he was going to be a good defender. Jury's still out on that. We're just 29 games into his career. But man, he has been one of the more exciting offensive players. He was always going to have more pressure as well because the Pelicans traded away their unprotected first-round pick in 2026. That has a swap with Milwaukee, so it's like an added bonus. It's added juice to get in there in the top 10, given the way both those teams have played. But that's not Derik Queen's fault. He had a forgetful summer league. A lot of people were criticizing him, which is always so early. It's summer league. It's irrelevant games, and these guys are getting like their first NBA feel in just chaotic style of play. But Derik Queen this year, on an entertainment factor, has maybe been the most exciting rookie in a way. It's like him and Knippel, and then I think Cooper Flagg, and Edgecombe as well. Like, if I had to give out all rookie first team, it'd probably be Flagg, Knippel, Edgecombe, Derik Queen, and then it comes down between probably Dylan Harper versus Cedric Howard versus Jeremiah Fears. Like, those are the last 3 rookies I think I'm going to hit on right now, just because I wanted to talk about like the main rookie of the year race guys. Like, Cedric Howard probably is going to end up on all rookie second team. Like, he's not as flashy, wasn't a top pick like some of these guys, not as flashy as like a big as like a Derik Queen is, but Howard this year is just going to be a good role player in the league. There's been some Kawhi Leonard comps. I mean, he's got very similar intangibles. He's averaging 13 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He was shooting like 70% from 3 in his first like 2 weeks of the season. That's down to 31%. I think he can kind of go back to like a 35-ish% by the end of the year, probably like maybe 34. could be the high end of it. But this guy is a really good defender of the gate, switch on multiple positions, holds his own, is very sturdy to the ground. It's not going to get kind of knocked over whatsoever if somebody's like downhill attacking you at the rim, and he can move his feet extremely well, can take a charge, it feels like, and he's just willing to absorb contact. He didn't really have much of a collegiate season last year due to injuries, and I think he's looked the part this year as a 22-year-old for the Memphis Grizzlies. There's been some fun Grizzlies as of late. Like, the Grizzlies have been playing some really good basketball as of late, and I know Ja didn't play yesterday, and I believe Jaren Jackson Jr. fouled out, but then they lose to the Wizards. I'm like, you had this momentum, and then you lose to the Wizards. I know you had injuries, but Santi Aldama went off in that game. And then Jeremiah Fears, another player you have to talk about as well. I wasn't the biggest fan of Fears, I'll be honest, pre-draft. Fears has been better than expected, but we'll see if he will grow on this, right? Like, if this is what Fears is going to be in his career, would you take that for the 7th overall pick? Somebody that shoots not great around the rim, not great on twos, but has been 35% from three. I wonder if he's going to scale up that. Like, can he shoot 37, 38 one day? Or is he going to hover around 33 to 36%? He's been 78% from the free throw line, but he's legitimately had 0 Fears this year. I love the confidence and the intensity that Fears has been playing with. He's got that upside down headband as well, which is pretty dope. 15 points, 3.5 rebounds, 3 assists. Definitely in consideration to be on all rookie first team as well. He has done such a good job kind of using his speed to his advantage. And if he's going to get better finishing around the rim, which usually rookie guards aren't great at, and then they start to find their feel and rhythm a little bit at the end of their rookie year and then into their sophomore year and onwards, this could be a 20-point per game score one day. And this is the future point guard in New Orleans for years to come. So I kind of want to just talk about the loaded rookie of the year race. I wasn't going to go too in depth on every pick. I graded all these guys as like first 25 games on my SROS channel. I just kind of wanted to update you guys. The elite rookie of the year race we have between Flagg, Knipple. It seems like it's a 2-man race odds wise, but you also have to give some love to Edgecombe this year, who's been really good as of late. Both guys in New Orleans, and Jeremiah Fears and Derik Queen. And I think Cedric Howard and Dylan Harper have also looked the part as like the last spot for all rookie first team, or the first guy on all rookie second team. And yeah, I don't think anybody else is really going to be competing for an all rookie first team spot. Like, Jaegor's had his moments this year. Trey Johnson's had its moments. He dealt with that, I think, hip injury. Like, Ace Bailey will maybe come alive in the second half numbers-wise. We'll see. But yeah, it's been fun this year. Will Richard, maybe one other guy that could compete if Steve Kerr stops giving him DNPs. I don't know why he was getting those. And yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this extra SROS video. If you did, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. Let me know down below who you guys would give the Rookie of the Year to, or maybe your all-rookie first team, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.